Hey guys, I'm Jackie Brubaker, host of the Love You Even More podcast. I'm an author, marriage and family therapist in training, performer, and 2-time Emmy Award winner. Each week, I bring on people from all walks of life to talk to them about their inspiring stories in the fields of self-development, relationships, business, and how you can love yourself even more. For more about me and the podcast, visit us at loveyouevenmore.com. Hey guys, and welcome to the Love You Even More podcast. I'm your host, Jacqueline Brubaker, and today I want to talk about reframing our point of view. So I have recently been working on this with quite a few of my clients. For those of you who are new to the podcast, I am a marriage and family therapist in training. So I'm seeing a lot of different people of all walks of life right now. And what's so interesting is that it really just comes down to being human, right? We all kind of struggle with the same belief systems of, well, I believe this is true for me, so that's it. And what happens is we're stuck in this mindset of like, well, I know what this is, and I've been here before, and I know what to do, and I know what they're thinking, and I know what they're going to do. Right? Sound familiar? We're all guilty of this, okay? It doesn't really matter who you are, where you're from, your socioeconomic class, anything. Just it's human. So I've been really working on this with clients and with myself. And it's a lifelong thing, working on ourselves. This isn't like, hey, we, learned everything and now we know everything and we'll never mess up and we'll never have like the wrong point of view or the wrong thought process. Like, no, it's just we're always undoing patterns. So let me talk about that first, because this is why we have the belief systems we have and why being able to reframe our perspective is so powerful. So given your upbringing, no matter what that looked like, that set the stage for who you will become and what your belief system will be. Whether you adopted your, parents' point of view or your upbringing, everything that you got was exactly who you became, or you rebelled completely, it had an impact. It had a very deep psychological impact on how you view the world and yourself. So even though we can all do these amazing, self-help and self-discovery and therapy and all of that, and we can make real change, because if we couldn't, therapy would be stupid. But we can. If we can do that, that's great. But it's a constant remembering of the triggers we'll get when we're faced with something that reminds us of our previous programming. Because the programming is always there. And a really good way of understanding that too is with your attachment style. So we won't get too far into attachment style because that's another episode. And trust me, there are some episodes on attachment on the podcast. If you want to search, I couldn't give you a number, but I'll probably do a future episode on attachment. Mark my words. But when we are securely attached, avoidantly attached, or anxiously attached, that again comes from how we were brought up and how our caregivers treated us. So if you had a caregiver who was incredibly smothering and needy and enmeshed to you, most likely you're going to become avoidant. Because think of it this way, right? You're a little kid. You're just trying to do your little kid thing. And you're running around and playing, and you don't want your mom on top of you. You want to make sure she's close, right? You want to make sure that the parent is close by just in case, but you don't want to be smothered. Even if you were a needy kid, you wanted to have a little autonomy. Now, let's say you had a helicopter parent who was smothering, who was there all the time. And now you're just like, oh my God, get off me. Now, just imagine that happened throughout your entire upbringing. You are going to most likely become avoidantly attached, which means when your partner or anybody gets really, really close to you, you're like, oh my God, oh my gosh, back up. You're so needy. Okay, now this is an attachment episode. But so there's that, right? Anxiously attached is when you felt that you were rejected, or you just were. You were rejected by your parents. They weren't there for you. They neglected you. They were not supportive of you. And so you were constantly chasing them to get that validation, to get that support. And so you became anxious, or you become anxious when someone is leaving you, or when someone is like, hey, I'll be right back, or someone doesn't call you in the allotted time that you think they should call you, et cetera, right? And then, of course, securely attached. This is just a briefing on all of this to give some context. Securely attached is you had parents who let you be a kid and like let you have autonomy, but were also there for you, and they were close by. They gave you just enough of the nurturing that you needed so that you could feel free, but also supported. That's the goal, right? And as adults, we're all trying to get back to or get to being securely attached. So when we are working with our attachment style and we are looking at the world and we are thinking the thoughts we have about people and relationships, job situations, politics, whatever it is, we have these set ideas of what the world is. And in order to actually see outside of our set expectations and beliefs, we need to go ahead and start reframing that. So, in a very simple way, I just want to give a very easy example of friendship. There's another episode I am doing on jealousy and friendship and how motivating that can be. That's separate. But let's just give an example of friendship where you've been friends with someone, something has changed, something has shifted, and you're not sure what's going on, but they're definitely like moving away. And you're like, I can't think of anything. Like, why would they be moving away? And then you think, well, if you're anxiously attached, you think, oh no, I should go chase after them. Wait, did I do something? I'm so sorry. Let me apologize, which is fine. It's always good to be like, hey, did I do something? That's fair. But then if you're anxious or you're avoidantly attached, you're just like, you know what? You go off, do your thing, friend. It's fine. It's fine because that's what I'm used to. It's totally fine. Not going to address it. Not going to address it. You're securely attached. You give your friend some time. And you think, okay, they'll be back. And if they're not back within like a kind of normal amount of time, we'll be like, hey, you okay? You cool? Are we cool? And then they'll respond. Now, if you didn't know that going into being in this like dynamic with a friend who's backing away, here's a really great way to reframe the situation. If you are sitting there thinking that it's about you, right? You're anxiously attached. You're thinking it's me. I've done something wrong. I'm bad. I have shame because it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Hopefully you will ask and just be like, hey, you know what? I've just noticed you've been different or distant. But a great way to reframe this is maybe it's not about you. Maybe it's just not about you. Maybe it's about them. Maybe they just need to go do some stuff on their own. Maybe they're on their own like solo journey and they just need to like find themselves and they don't even want to be around anybody right now. Maybe that's true. So that's a really easy way to reframe this, bad, scary thought of it's me, I did something to, you know what? Maybe this has nothing to do with me because I can't think of any reason why we would have suddenly been distant. Okay. Now, there's another way to reframe this too, which is, maybe you start looking at the friendship and think, maybe this is just like a natural sort of like, ending. Like friendships end, right? And sometimes they just fade away and that's okay. Like nothing happened, but they just fade away and it was for a time what it was. And if you're securely attached enough to be like, okay, like that's cool. Even if you're not, you might just have to sort of accept what's happening there. So another way to reframe this would be to see it that way, see it for what it was. There's a season and a reason, and some friendships are for certain seasons. And looking at what you've gotten out of the friendship, what it meant to you, and maybe how it doesn't really align in your life anymore. think about it that way. Just think about like, how was this serving me? And maybe it's not really serving the other person anymore, or maybe it's not serving me, or maybe mutually it's just not serving both of us. And it's just normally kind of just gently fading away. See what I'm saying? It's just about taking the situation and thinking of different perspectives of what could actually be happening, instead of like going to the worst case scenario or blaming yourself. Because the truth is, we create these stories in our head if we don't really have all the information, which is why if you're able to get more information, you should. If you can, you should do it. You should be brave, my opinion. You should be brave and ask for more clarity from the person, the situation, the job. A lot of people, this is from my entertainment professionals out there, a lot of my, actor clients and myself as well. I'm also a singer and an actor, this. When I go to an audition and I don't get something, typically I can't ask like, hey, why didn't I get it? Because I'm only in the room for like minutes. And they don't even know if they're going to say yes or no. Sometimes they do. That's fine. But, a lot of times this is actually a really good example for like work. So I audition for Broadway musicals. And with Broadway right now, there's a lot of stuff going on about big roles already being pre-cast. Even if we have amazing talent coming in, thinking I'm auditioning for Glinda, I'm auditioning for, whatever it is, some major role, and you're in the room and you're equity and you're still not getting a call back, it's because people have already been cast, right? There's nothing you can do. It's very frustrating, but that is the truth of it. Now, is that fair? Absolutely not. We really need to work on this. And I know there's a lot of hoopla going on with Broadway right now. But my point is that it isn't always about you. And there could be so much more to the story than you're aware of. So when we do a good reframe of like, hey, I didn't get called back, not because I wasn't good enough, not because I wasn't talented enough. It's just because there's more to the story that I didn't realize. Maybe the part is already cast. All right. I feel like I have laid this out pretty clearly. But I hope that when you listen to this, or when you've listened to this, you just get a better idea of it's not always about you, but also it's not always what you think it might be. And that's okay. And giving yourself almost like a game of trying to find a reframe for everything, looking at the other person, trying to figure out like, hey, maybe they're going through something, or, maybe they're carrying something heavier than I realize. Maybe giving some compassion, just understanding to that, or the situation. If it's a work thing, just being like, hey, maybe it has nothing to do with me. And that's not to take accountability or responsibility for our part. But it is sometimes just that simple of just being like, let me just give this a quick reframe. So if you're struggling with something right now and you're just like, I don't know, I'm struggling. And just give it some reframes. Just, as if you were like the writer of the story, because you are. Go ahead and think about like what that might be. Maybe it's just this scenario or that. And if you can find clarity, if you're able to, do it. Because sometimes the reframes we've come up with help us to move forward and to make sense of it for us. But when you really get the actual facts, it can make it even more understandable. Okay, guys, I hope this helps. And if it did, feel free to DM me on Instagram at Love You Even More Podcast or at Jacqueline Brubaker. And let me know how this resonated for you, if you've used it. And if you haven't already, please click subscribe, follow the podcast. A lot of people listen to it, but then don't actually follow. And the follows are what really put us out there for like Apple and Spotify and get us really, really out there to get more people listening. All right, you guys, I'll see you next week.